Yesterday we started lab and we deployed a Palo Alto firewall and we deployed the management PC. We configured uh, IP addresses and all. Okay, let's see. I'll connect to my lab.
So are you connecting to a different PC that has the VMware workstation?
Correct.
Oh, okay. So this particular PC doesn't have VMware workstation. So okay,
No, I'm connecting to ESXi server
okay,
through VMware Workstation. I'm just using VMware Workstation as a client. Through VMware Workstation, I'm connecting to ESXi server.
okay,
See here, you have an option to connect a remote server, right?
okay, okay,
So through this option, I'm connecting to the remote server. That is my ESXi server.
okay.
I can use vSphere client as well, but I'm not using because VM Workstation is good to access the ESXi virtual machines.
Okay. And these are hosted in the network home lab in the same within the LAN.
Yes.
Okay. You can also do remote connection, right?
Yesterday I
Like
had
VPN access.
not required VPN access.
Okay.
You can take to
Right.
through TeamViewer and all. You can take the access. Let this uh, firewall come up. It will take some time to come up.
सर जी थोड़ा रिकॉर्डिंग परमिशन दे देते.
Okay. Yesterday I was discussing about the different interfaces that you have over here. The first interface was the management interface, right? And the second interface, third interface, fourth, five, and six. Total six interfaces we have, right? Out of these six interface, the first interface was management interface. Take a note of this, everyone. These six interfaces will look like these interfaces on your Palo Alto firewall. Okay. Your first interface will be the management interface. Second interface will be the E1/1. We'll use E1/1 for what? We'll check 1/2, 1/3. Accordingly, you can see 3, 4, 5, and 6 as a 1/5. Okay. Now these things you can use for the deployment. Now if you see the logical topology, in logical topology, E1/1 we have used as a LAN. So which interface of the Palo Alto you'll deploy it as a LAN? I'll go to the Palo Alto. Which interface you'll use it as a LAN? Adapter 2, right? Adapter 2 should be in inside or LAN. LAN or inside, you can say. Adapter number 3, I should use it as a which is VLAN that you need to check with the topology. 1/2 as a DMZ. 1/2 is a third adapter, right? I'll use it as a DMZ. Fourth adapter is 1/3. 1/3 means we'll see a logical topology. 1/3 will be using as a WAN. You can say it's already in outside or WAN. The other two interfaces will use later on for the HA purpose. Okay. So right now it's not a correct time to deploy these two interfaces. So let it be in any VLAN. I don't care about it. Okay. Later on, we'll see these two interfaces used for HA purpose. Okay. So right now we manage four interfaces: management interface, LAN, DMZ, and WAN. So L2 deployments are done. Now L2 deployments for the other devices. Admin PC already we connected yesterday to the management VLAN, and we had a connectivity as well. Yesterday we assigned static IP address, right? 103.0.0.254. It's a reachable. I can check the reachability. It means ping is allowed, right? At the management interface, ping is allowed. I'll get the remote access. That is your 103.0.0.254. I got the SSH access. It means SSH is allowed. I log in as an admin.
So as soon as you put in the same subnet, the management IP, it will automatically connect to the Palo Alto management interface,
Correct.
right? Okay, you don't need to do any other specific connections.
No, if we put the interfaces in the same VLAN and if
Okay.
both the interfaces are in the same subnet, they will communicate with each other. So system info, we have taken a CLI remote access through SSH. If you give a system info, you can see this is the IP address configured, this is the subnet mask, and this is your gateway that we gave it just for, simply to configure it. Okay, how will you configure the gateway and all that I was showing you yesterday. But right now we don't have this IP address in our existing topology. So no need to worry about it because we are communicating within the same subnet. So gateway is not required actually. IP assignment was done statically. Earlier, when we started the firewall, it received an IP address from the DHCP. So we removed DHCP client from the firewall and we assigned the IP address statically. Right now, PA model number is not reflecting. Your family is VM, and you can see its serial number is not shown. If serial number is not shown, you won't be able to register it with the panorama. We have deployed in what? VM mode, that is your VMware ESXi. So these are the details that you guys can see. Okay, now let's manage the other zones also. So in a LAN zone, I need one PC, right? I need a LAN PC. In DMZ zone, I need one router. Yesterday, had we managed all these things? No. Okay. So I'll manage one test PC, and this test PC will put in LAN zone. So we'll put in LAN VLAN over here, LAN or inside. See, this lab is used for different purposes. So right now in our class, we are using this lab, this test PC for Palo Alto class. Might be if I'm taking other class, I might use it for different lab, okay, purpose. So in that condition, the devices VLANs might change. So whenever you guys are doing a lab, check the VLANs properly, all the devices. Now this test PC we kept in LAN zone. Let us test the connectivity with the okay, we haven't configured the LAN interfaces in it, right? Fine. So I'll take one DMZ router as well, and I will put one of the interface in DMZ zone. So adapter 2 is in DMZ zone. We'll use it. So let this router come up. It will take some time. So almost we have LAN PC, we have DMZ router on which will enable HTTP or HTTPS services. And here at the WAN interface, will directly connect it to the will connect to the internet via this gateway. Okay. Now let's get a GUI access till your firewall. Okay, your firewall is up. Sorry, your router is up. On your router, let's take an IP address. So IP interface. Wait. What do you see the IP address over here? 192.168.30.3. So IP route. It's with the 192.168.30.10. It's the correct route, right? Here we have 192.168.30.3 as a IP address, and I should give a default route towards its gateway. The gateway is .10 from this subnet. So the configuration on DMZ router is correct. Okay. Right now your firewall is not configured with the LAN interface, WAN interface, and DMZ interface. Let's configure it. So we'll configure it through GUI. Now, before we configure those interfaces, I want to show you something. Let's say right now, if I get an access to the firewall through GUI, https 103.0.0.254. I got the access, right? Admin, admin. Now, right now you got the access, and from this GUI, you'll do the configuration of all the interfaces or whatever the changes you want to do. But let's say, for example, while accessing a GUI or through the CLI, you lost a GUI access, or you lost the other services enabled at the management interface. See, if you lose ping or SSH, that's okay. But if you lose HTTPS access, you won't get the GUI access, right? Let's say, for example, I'm getting a GUI access and I'll try to do some mistake. This warning you're getting because you're using the default password. I'll quickly change the default password so that it won't give me any warning. To change the default password, I need to get into device. Okay, device is related to all the management of your firewall. So you can see here, administrator. Under the administrator, can you see admin? What is the privilege? Super user. Okay. So what is the old password? Admin. I'll give the new password as a capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5. Capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5. Remember the password what I have given. Capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5. Commit the changes. Okay. Now, if you come to the device, and here if you come to setup, and if you come to the interfaces, under the interface, what do you see? This is management interface. So management interface you'll get only under the device tab. You will not get under the other tab. So under the device, you have the setup, and under the setup, you'll get interface, and under the interface, you'll get management. Can you see here it's enabled IP address and 3 services present over here? Let's say, for example, by mistakenly you disabled unchecked the HTTPS and you committed it. Then here at the last you can say logout is there. Now I committed the means I unchecked HTTPS and I committed. Now should I get the access for HTTPS? No. Your ping will work, but the HTTPS should not work. 103.0.0.254. Still getting, right? It will take some time. Only for this purpose, after disabling, till 1 minute you'll get the access. So if you have committed the mistake, you can immediately log in and you can, bring it up. But after that, it is not going to come up. See?
So,
Yep, tell me.
yeah, can you disable SSH other options as well?
First of all, enable the HTTPS, get the GUI access and make the changes. Okay.
Okay.
See, the thing is, why am I saying you to get back the HTTPS first? Now, day by day, we are moving towards the GUI. Okay, we have already moved, and from the GUI, we are moving to some other configurations also.
Okay.
So, mostly we are not dependent on the CLI commands. Only we are dependent on those commands which will help you to get your console back, get your management interface back, those type of commands. Some reachability commands, some tracking commands, monitoring commands. We are dependent on those commands only. But we are not dependent on each and every deployment like interface configuration, policy deployment. Those things will do through GUI itself. No need to go for the CLI commands. So first of all, get this service back. Once you will see how to enable the service, you will also understand how to disable the service. Right.
Okay.
So enabling and disabling the services you will come to know through the CLI as well. So what we'll do, we'll say set device config, okay, system service. Okay, press the question mark. Now these all are the services that we get on the interface. I want to enable what? HTTPS. So I'll say disable HTTPS. Disable HTTPS no means enable. Disable HTTPS no means what I'm saying. Don't disable HTTPS. It means indirectly what you're saying. Enable. Right. So I enabled. Now if you want to disable something, someone to like disable the SSH. So disable SSH. Right. And you will say yes. See, you are taking the access SSH and you are trying to remove the SSH. No issues. Say commit, make the changes. Once the changes will be done, you will lose your SSH connection, right? Done. I should close this putty software. Okay, done. You got the GUI access back. We enabled HTTPS. We got the GUI back. HTTP. So we are going to do SSH 103.0.0.254. Are you getting access? No. So how will you make it back? Now your GUI is accessing, right? Your GUI is accessible. You don't have telnet option also, right? So your GUI is back with capital A, small b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if your GUI SSH is gone? Then how will you bring it back? If your GUI is also gone, only a ping is there, and SSH is also gone, then how will you bring it? Huh? Correct, simple answer. Through the physical port, right? I mean, like through the console port. So you can come to the console. See, SSH and HTTPS are not the physical access. Those all are the remote access. This is what I wanted to make you understand. There is a difference between physical and the remote access, right? What is the command? We'll go to the configuration mode, right? Set device config system service HTTP install. Disable HTTPS no. Disable SSH no. Very funny type of the command is given, right? See, actually why they are doing this is there is a small history. Have you guys heard about the Netscreen firewall? Anyone heard about the Netscreen firewall? See, Netscreen firewall was the first next generation firewall. Okay, and that Netscreen firewall was having one architecture every design means everything. Very good firewall. That Netiskin firewall later on was acquired by Juniper. You guys have heard about Juniper, right? It was later on acquired by Juniper. And then after that they split it into multiple vendors. They split from the same group, you know, they split it to the Fortinet. You have a Fortinet company with the FortiGate firewalls. From the same group, one guy split it, created a Palo Alto. Okay, from the same group, one guy created the checkpoint. So overall, if you see the architecture of all the firewalls, you will see similar. Your base is Netiskin firewall, and they all are using the same architecture. Now, if they will put their graphical, access same way, if they'll put their languages also same, then what will happen? They will think like they have copied each other, right? So what they are doing is using a different way, different languages, right? So this is the thing happening. Okay, we committed the changes, right? Now, if I refresh the page, I should be able to see two more services. Here, can you see this option, arrow type? That is a refresh option. We refreshed it, and we can see three services are now available. Is that fine now? Someone had asked me for SSH, right? Enabling and disabling 103.0.0.254. We got the access back. We'll access CLI from SSH only. Okay. Here we'll get all the information properly. Password as a capital A, small b, 1 2 3 4 5. Capital A, small b, 1 2 3 4 5. I got the access. Enable. Oh, sorry. Configure. Configuration mode. So I hope you guys understood the basic control, right? How will you bring your services back? How you will disable the services through CLI. Okay. Now let's see few more basic things before we configure the LAN, WAN, DMZ and all. In the management itself, I mean like in device tab itself, under the setup, you have the management interface. You have a management tab. Okay. Under the management tab, you have a general settings. Like if you want to change your firewall name, you can say CAVM1. We are not in a US specific zone, right? We are in Asia, which is time zone Kolkata. Right. We're using a language as a English or Chinese. English. Good. This is date and time, right? Okay. Latitude and all I don't know. So I'll say okay. These are the details we have given. Now, if you have a panorama, you'll go for the panorama setting. You know what is panorama? Panorama is a kind of centralized manager for the multiple firewalls, like FMC. Okay. Now, you have the banners and messages. If you want to display some message, okay, we have meeting at 8 p.m. So those who are accessing the firewall, when they will log in, they will get this message of the day. Okay. Your title you can put as a meeting. If you want to put any icon, This is information, not an warning. So accordingly, you can do these things. Okay. Here you can see this was message of a day in a banner. If you want to write something on your banner, means when you're displaying a page, at that time we'll come to NH. Okay, let me deploy these things. I'll say log out. What is written here? Correct. Login, admin, password, capital A, small b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got the message, right? So this is how you can use those simple things. Okay. Now before we go for interface configurations, we'll see more thing like we have administrators. We have a single account as a super user, right? I told you about the users and the roles. We already discussed about it, right? Users and the different types of roles. Like we have a dynamic roles like super user read only, device admin, read only, vsys, admin, vsys, read only. So I told you with the lower model numbers or on the VM, you will not be able to find the vsys. vsys is for the hardware and with the medium type of firewalls and the higher firewalls. I'll come to add option. I'll add one user. What is the user? User 1. Do I have an external server profiles? No. So I'll be creating locally. What is the password? Capital A, small b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to avoid the confusion with the multiple passwords, I'm using the same password. Okay. So what do you see? Administrator type is dynamic and there is role based. When I say role based, your profile has been deleted and you can see the profiles which are created over here is showing over here. Or else you can go with the dynamic. If I go with the dynamic, what do I see? Pre-configured roles, super user read only. So let us create one super user. I would say okay. I'll create one more user, user 2. Password capital A, small b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same repeating. And I'll give the role as a device administrator. I'll create one more user, user 3. Password capital small b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, device administrator created. Okay. I'll say commit the changes. Done. Once this is done, I'll log out. I'll log in with user 1. Log in with capital small b, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is super user. I'll get the same privilege, equal rights as your admin was having. See, I can see all the users. I can modify. I hope you guys remember I told you last time about the transaction lock. What was transaction lock? You lock the commit and the other guy will not be able to do a commit, make a changes. You can see this transaction lock option is here, right? I'll lock this. I'll take a lock for commit. Who has taken a lock? User 1. What is the privilege of user 1? Super user. Okay. I'll log out. I'll log in with admin. Password capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5. Same privilege. Can he unlock it? Yes. Same privilege, only with the super user, not with the device admin. I can see commit is locked. I'll try to make some change. Let's say I'll try to add some user 4 with password capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5, capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5, and I'll put the privilege as a device administrator read only. I'll try to commit. Who has done a lock? User 1. So right now I made the changes. The changes were done by admin, right? Should I commit the changes made by admin, or should I say commit all changes? By default, it will be on commit all changes. By mistake, if you're pressing this, other administrators are holding the device wide commit lock. So you're protected, right? So super user had done some changes, for example, and admin was also trying to do the changes at a time. So by mistakenly, he was committing all the changes. He was committing all the changes, and user 1 was not trying to commit the change, but administrator means your admin by mistakenly committing his changes, he was trying to make commit all the changes. You understand? So in this way, mistakes can happen, right? So if you have done commit lock or transaction lock, it will help you to avoid the mistakes. This is the actual meaning. Now, the changes what you have done, if you want to commit it, still it tells you the commit is lock. Okay, I'll see who has taken the lock. I can see here user 1. I want to remove lock. Do I get the option over here? It's a highlighted, right? I was able to remove the lock, and I will be able to commit the changes. Super user means super user having all the privileges. Now let's make a lock again. Now this time who has done the lock? Admin has done the lock. We know user 1 can disable it. I mean like he can remove the lock. But let's log in with the user 2. Capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5.
Only super users can enable and disable lock, right?
No, it's not like that. It depends on who has locked and who is trying to unlock.
Oh, okay. So regular user, if he locks, super user can unlock it.
See, right now who has taken the lock? Admin. I logged in with user 2. User 2 privilege is device
Admin.
admin. So device admin is lower than the super user. Can you see? Like, am I able to remove the lock if I select it? So I'm not able to take a lock also. Okay, you can take a lock, but you cannot remove the lock of admin. Say, when the admin will remove a lock, then user 2 also has given a lock. That's a separate thing. Okay, your lock you can remove, but if you are trying to do any changes, let's say for example, see what is the difference between device admin and the administrator? I mean like super user. Say super user had created the users, right? And assigned the privilege, means the role. Can you see your device admin can add any user? Can he see other users also? The user with the same privilege or the same role, can you see the other users? We have a user 3 also, right? With the same role, can we see? No. These are the limitations. Except this, all the things the device admin can do, you know, compared to super user. And super user can also create the administrators, assign the roles. But the device administrator or device admin can do these things. This is only the difference. Rest all
So
the
they cannot create super users also, right? Only administrators.
he cannot create any users. He cannot assign
Okay.
any roles. Okay, that is the
Okay.
part of super user only. So if I make any changes also, let's say for example, I'm creating one address LAN underscore IP 10.11.11.10 class 24. I created this. I'll try to commit. No. I'll try to unlock. No, not possible. So what I'll do, I'll log out. I'll log in through admin or user one. Okay.
You're saying when the commit is locked, you cannot also create interfaces as a regular admin?
See, the changes you can do, but you cannot commit it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, understood. So they won't be effective, yeah.
Now see here, I created the object. It is present. It is present in candidate config. It is not present in running config because commit was not done, right? Now, if I remove the lock, removed. If I try to commit, so commit all the changes. If I go, it means preview the changes. If you click here, you can see the changes. Can you see? This change was done, right? And it was done. So when I'm going to make the change over here, I can see what are the changes that are going to get committed over here. IP address. We had created the, you can say this is the address that we created, right? So this you can see, this was added. You can see these colors. If something is added, green color, something modified, and something deleted. So these are the things that you can see. If you want to change summary, if you want to see here, you can also modify from here itself. Okay, who had done the changes? Who was the owner? User 2. See how many preferences do you have. If you want to do the modification being in your user, means you have logged in super you right now. Who has logged in? Super user admin, and I'm trying to make the changes or trying to edit the changes that was done by user 2. Even that is possible. Validate commit. Okay, this validation will check in a different way. I told you guys about the candidate config and running config, right? So you guys will come to device, and under the device you have config audit. So I have a running config and I have a candidate config, and I want to see how many lines. That depends. You can select the number of lines. Can you see? These are the changes. Now who has done these changes? User 2. At what time? You can see, right? So actually in the running config, this field is empty. Now this is going to get configured. Do you want to commit it? This will be a part of running config. Now did you understand what is the difference between candidate config and the running config? How can you check? How can you edit it, modify it, right? Before you commit. You can commit your changes, commit changes made by admin, or you can make all the changes. How can you protect yourself by committing the changes? Transaction log, right? Okay, so these things are done. Now, whatever we discussed till now was with the dynamic role. We created the user, we assigned the dynamic role. We assigned a dynamic role as a super user, device administrator, and device administrator read only. Let's see what happens in read only. What will happen in read only, guys?
You cannot make any changes.
Correct. You can see all those stuff what device administrator could see, right? Okay, let's see. I'll come to the object. I created this object, right? I'll select it and I'll try to delete. Oh, can I delete? No, but I can see. I can see myself under the administrator. I can see these things, means checking the configuration is not making a change, right? It's just checking. You can go for dashboard, ACC, monitor. You can see all the options. Try to modify anything. Under the object, we'll try to add an IP address. I'm not able to add. This is what a read only is. He can view, but he can't make the changes. Try to commit. You don't have a commit for permission. Let's come back to admin. Capital small b 1 2 3 4 5. Now come to the device. We'll see here administrators. These are the users. Now, apart from the super user, device administrator, or the read only, I want to create my own type of role. Okay. The roles which are present here Okay, these roles are here. I can see the roles, right? The super user, device administrator. These roles are dynamic roles. These are not fulfilling my requirement. I have something else in my mind. So I want to create the role as per my requirement. So I'll come to the admin role and I'll add a role. I'll say operator, and the operator can only view, right? So dashboard is fine, ACC is fine, monitor is fine. Policies, not fine. If you click here, you can see either you can allow or you can disable. Object is not fine. I don't want to give the access to all the objects. Network is not fine. Device tab is not fine. The privacy, this is not fine. I should not give commit and all these things, right? Okay. Validating, save. Save should not be given. Validating, commit should not be given. Other things we have given. The rest all the things are reports, summary and all, right? These things monitor, these things should be given. Now, now let's say you can also go by saying under the network he can see the interfaces but he cannot modify. Two times if you click, then it will keep on changing the icon. So he can see the network tab but he cannot modify interface. It's like a read only. But in interface, sorry, in the network tab he won't see the zone, he won't see VLAN. But if you want to show them but he cannot use it, then lock it. You understand? But I don't want these things. Yeah, multiple tabs are there, right? I don't want to do like this. I want to remove the entire tab itself. So go for cross. So okay, I created operator, right? I'll come to user 4, and this user 4 I was trying to make as a operator, but actually there was no dynamic role like a operator, right? So I created the role based access. We call it as a role based, and I can see operator. I'll select it and I'll commit the changes. Now I'll log out and I'll log in through the user 4, capital A small b 1 2 3 4 5, login. How many tabs can you see, guys? Where are the others not present? We didn't assign. Can I go for commit? You don't have the tabs through which you can make the changes. So what is the use of commit, right? There is no use of taking a lock. Though you take a lock, why would you take a lock? Does not make any sense, right? Okay. So these are the multiple things that you guys can view over here. So I hope you understood the dynamic role and the role-based access. How to create the user and how to assign the dynamic role or how to add the role-based access to the user, right? Is it clear to everyone online, guys? Uni, that's correct. What you told is the same way I have done the configuration. Abhishek, you are asking me for short brief between super user and admin on transaction log. Super user is the user having all the privileges. Means he can unlock the transaction lock done by any users. Commit lock is to lock the commit in order to protect the changes done by any other users. So as we had seen, let's say for example, we have a user 2 and we have a password capital A small b 12345. We'll log in and here I'll make some change, or let's say I'll take a commit lock. I'll not make the change, but I'll take a commit lock. So user 2, what is the privilege of user 2? Device administrator. I can see my privilege is device administrator. This is my privilege or role, whatever you say. Okay. Now I'll try to log out. The same role having another user cannot unlock the commit or the transaction log. We have another user with the name user3 capital A small b 12345. I'll log in. I can see transaction lock has been done. I'll try to unlock this user. I'm not able to unlock. Let's see what is my role. Device administrator. So except super user, device administrator cannot unlock the another device administrator. Okay. So I log out again. I log in through admin. Then I can unlock it. Is this clear? Abhishek, is that fine? Admin also cannot unlock. What is the role of admin? First of all, understand about the role. Abhishek, have you missed a previous classes? Okay. So we discussed about the different roles, users, transaction log. Admin is a super user, right? Super user means what? He has all the privileges, right? It means device administrator is having the lower privilege, or you can say device administrator is lower than the super user. So if super user means if your device admin locks the commit, your super user has the right. He can unlock any user's lock, any users. I don't care about any other users. Means users having any rules, I don't care about it. Super user means he can unlock any other locks. Okay. See dashboard, what is going on the dashboard? I can see the general information. I can see the logins which are happening with the users. You can see the changes happening on the firewall, logs appearing for the, the changes happening on the firewall. User admin logged into the web with this IP through HTTPS, authenticated user admin. Okay, so all the changes, live things are happening. Okay, if you want something to manage on the dashboard, if you want something more like top applications, right now we are not using any application through the firewall. Is any traffic passing through the firewall right now? No. Right now we are only to the firewall control plane. We are not to the data plane. So this will come into the picture when data plane will come. Right. Now let's say I have got the different tabs. If you want to close, you can directly close from here. You want to see system interfaces. Can you see interfaces as of now on the dashboard? No. These are the interfaces. So these interfaces are the data interfaces. Okay. Any data interface did we configure? No, we haven't configured any data interfaces. So interfaces are not showing configured. Gray color means it's not configured and down. Let's say if it is configured and then if it is down, then it will show you in red color. If it is configured and it is up, then it will show you in green color. Okay. So these are the basic things, small things. Now let's say for example, you want to say under this setup few more things. Yesterday I told you like all the services are configured with the management interface, like all the updates. Have I told you this thing? No. Okay. Then leave it. I'll tell you in next class. You have a management interface, these things? Okay, fine. Okay, guys. So the basic steps we are done. Now we'll go for the interface configuration, means entire lab setup will go for. So what I'll suggest you, whatever the common things we have done today, means the small things like assigning IP address, assigning DNS gateway, or enabling and disabling the services, getting a GUI access, creating a users, assigning the roles, banners, time zone, time, all those steps. You should be aware of it. Okay. On the drive, I have already uploaded firewall, already uploaded all the documents. Go through it. Do your lab. Tomorrow you have a holiday. Tomorrow is, election in Bangalore. So entire Bangalore, all the offices will remain closed. Your next class will get from Monday. Any questions? Online guys? See, why am I ending the classes by 7:30 around? I have the another class from 8 o'clock. So your classes will be till 7:30 only. Try to be online or try to be present at exact 6 o'clock so that we can start the class. Fine, see you guys.